Welcome back to Route 40 Rust. Today we're going to yank this tired F-134 engine out of the Willys and slap in an LS. No, we're not. We're going to mount a shovel to it. This isn't just any shovel. This shovel has special meaning for me. Dug a lot of holes with it. No, actually, I got it overseas. The United States Army decided that they didn't want to pay the cost to bring a bunch of stuff home, so they had their guys just dumping it out in the desert. And we ran a security mission and saw them doing this, just tools and equipment and stuff. Nothing sensitive, nothing radios or anything military or tactically speaking, but just stuff like this. And they just dumped it there. So what do? We just grabbed it all up, put it in action packers, and shipped it all home. I think we got awesome deals on it. You could put an action packer full of however much stuff. It couldn't weigh more than 75 pounds and duct tape it up so when the plastic breaks, it doesn't spill its guts all over, and send it home. We did. I got snap-on wrenches and all sorts of tools and neat gizmos and gadgets like this shovel. But I've had it a long time and I really like it. So I think it needs to go permanently on the side of my Willys. And I'm going to mount it up with another cool find. This is a stainless steel shovel mount taken off a fire truck. I had a friend that worked at a truck salvage yard, and he would squirrel away all the CB radios, lights, mounts that he gets his hands on. And I don't blame him. I do the same thing. I got a loft above this barn just overflowing, and I'm talking overflowing with parts. We got everything. Since I was a kid, my first car was a Ford Maverick, and I guarantee you I've got Ford Maverick doors up there, windows, trim panels. I don't even know what I have. When I die, my kids are going to have a handful. So I think I'm going to go ahead and mount this somewhere here. This thing is... I don't know if I'm mounting a Jeep to a shovel or a shovel to the Jeep with this guy. It'll do it. So I think I'll bolt it here. Let the shovel kind of tuck into the beautiful body lines of the 3B. That way, when we're using this around the property to do chores or disc the garden or pull logs out of the woods, we don't have shovels and axes and stuff bouncing around and impaling you. That's a real issue these days. It's good stuff. Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw some holes in this, what's left of this body, and throw some bolts and nuts in it and just be done with it. I don't know what I'm drilling through. Could be Bondo I'm smelling. I know it's not Bondo because I used liquid nails, construction adhesive, as a body filler on this gem. That one didn't smell as bad. That is potent. Ooh, that's going into what's left of the toolbox. Boom. Nothing like it. Just like that. We're going to have mountage. So this is a 53, the first year for the CJ3B, which came after the 2A. And kind of after, but really before, the CJ5. They made a military one, I think before this. I'm not sure exactly. But I will say this is the 18th CJ3B made. For the first year they made them, and this is the 18th one to come off the assembly line, because I dug into the serial number a little bit. And what's cool about Willys, well, when we stop, for the purist out there, it's actually pronounced Willis. You'll hear real Willys guys say Willis. I get it. I hear it. I don't use it because no one else really knows it by that, and I don't want to be like a aficionado that has to say the right word the right way. It's fine. People know it as a Willys. They know what you're talking about. And I feel like when other people say it, they sound cool. When I say Willis, talking about these things, I feel kind of like a jerk. like I'm better, so I don't use it. And another thing about the Jeep name, I don't know when they got the trademark to start using the word Jeep or saying Jeep. When you see old advertisement from the 40s and 50s, it's in quotation marks. Take your Willys Jeep around the farm, and so on and so forth. I think there was a battle in the 40s and maybe early 50s about that term. It was kind of generic and they couldn't trademark it, but Willys really pushed it the most. And there's a few clues on these things that you can see where they snuck in the word. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. I'll bring you in close and show you the actual where it says Jeep on this thing. And that brings me to another thing. Kind of disputed. Everybody has their opinions about the name of Jeep. I think there's a lot of different stories out there, but the two primary ones is the GP, general purpose, and guys would kind of just slur GP into Jeep. GP. See, I don't really get that. Now, here's the one that I stick to. I'm going with the Popeye, the cartoon character of the comic, his pet dog, the African Huey Hound, Eugene the Jeep. And the reason I believe this is because everything Eugene the Jeep does in the cartoon it really symbolizes what these Jeeps were able to do during the war and to this day. And I think, so many of these guys that went into World War II, they were young kids, goodness gracious. Everybody had line to go, and, and they had, say you're 16, 17, 18, maybe younger, 15, I'm not sure. And I don't know how many guys who fought in World War II were, what the age groups were. But I know that they were young. I don't think we can argue that. And they probably had young siblings at home and maybe not watched them, but read the comics in the paper or whatnot. And they knew about Popeye. There's so many things in World War II that were comic related or cartoon related. Challenge and passwords were that way, and names they gave vehicles, be it a tank or a Jeep or other vehicles they had. And I think that young kid, these were kids that fought that war so bravely, and I just think that Eugene the Jeep, maybe some guy, just picture him sitting at a checkpoint or in a foxhole and talking about it, because in the Popeye comics, Eugene the Jeep was like fourth dimensional. He could walk up walls, go anywhere, walk up the ceiling upside down, disappear, and he did all these amazing things. And I could see these young kids just talking about that, and the name just kind of stuck. I don't know. Comment below what you think the name Jeep came from. I'd like to hear it. I know the GP one, the Eugene the Jeep from Popeye. Maybe that's all I know. I don't know, but please comment below what you think Jeep, how that word came about, or what you've heard or stuff. I'm really interested to hear it. They have really cool histories. So back to this specific Jeep. It is a civilian Jeep, a CJ3B, and it has a military double, the M606, similar to the CJ2As that have the iconic military look, because this has the high hood to fit the different engines, since the 2A had a L134, the flathead, and this is F134. So to make it all fit, they had to raise the hood up, all that good stuff. So the 2A has the military look, and I guess that's the M38's the military edition. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've got a couple Jeeps, and I'm not a Jeep historian, but just off the top of my head. So yeah, please, always comment out below and tell me these things. Refresh my memory. I'm getting old. What was I even talking about? Oh, so this did have a military counterpart. It's the M606. Almost identical looking. A couple of differences would be a flip-out vented windshield. I think a lot of military vehicles, that was mandatory. Get some circulation in there. I think even nowadays, I remember, speaking of overseas, and this is maybe 2008, if a vehicle didn't have air conditioning, it was deadlined. You couldn't take it on a mission. Which makes sense then, given the theater of operation and the crap we had to wear and carry. It was rough in there. So yeah, made the flip out, and then maybe instead of a 6 volt, maybe there were 24 volts. I don't know. Maybe there's electrical difference. PTO probably in a fold out windshield. Again, comment below and tell me what an M606 should have had, and that my 3B does not have. And that'll clarify stuff. But I got it, and this thing was polka dotted with house paint. And when I was grinding stuff down, I was posting pictures, and people, like, the most common response was, it was the 60s, man. I get it. Like, I really get that. You know, like, I kind of wish I left it that way, but it was bad. I mean, it was awful. And there's even some names still written up underneath this dash. Maybe like kids that went to the grandpa's farm and kind of beat it around the farm. It was the four-wheeler, even newer, the side-by-side of its day. So I could see in the 60s and 70s just kids going to their grandparents and beating on the old Jeep. And when I got a hold of it, I had to clean some of that up, and I just shot it with like a flat green paint. You know, I've shot a lot of paint on vehicles, tractor implement paint, just thin her out, mix her in a Harbor Freight gun, and let it shoot. And I've done some okay paint jobs that way, but this one was just, like I said, I did body filler with liquid nails, for Pete's sake, because this is what I had laying around. And this thing is just, it is a farm Jeep. That's all it does. That's its whole life. These tires are ancient, dry rotted, tubed up, 2-ply PVC. I do have Desert Dogs back here, which are fantastic. I gotta get back to the shovel mount. So I do have, minus this nuts, these are shiny and new. But I wasn't lying, guys, about squirreling stuff away. I save everything. So when I take apart a vehicle or an engine, I save all the old rusty hardware so I can use them in later projects, because it would look horrible to have shiny new hardware on this thing. I guess the stainless steel mount is kind of new and shiny. Whatever. Can't win them all. But I do save those. I would encourage you guys to save old rusty bolts too. So when you're doing a project, now that patina is more popular, that you can make stuff fit in. And I'm sure that there's chemicals you can buy to, there's my hardware. Chemicals you can buy to make new hardware look old, if that's what you're into. I don't know, but I've never used it. But I just save the old stuff, which kind of is hard to find nuts. You got fine thread, 5/16. And what's also kind of cool is you kind of, when you do this long enough, you oddly remember. I can't remember where I put my coffee cup in the morning. I'll lose it. There's coffee cups laying all over this place. But I do remember somehow where some of these bolts come out of. I know this is a carburetor bolt, mounting a carburetor to a old Troy-built horse tiller from the 70s. If you remember those things, they were beasts. I bet that tiller, a rototiller, would outpull this Jeep. That's a lie, but they're pretty impressive. See, I save all my hardware. And I'm also cheap. I'm a very cheap guy. And stuff, I don't have to tell you how expensive everything's getting. It's ridiculous. I mean, I serviced the Dana 60 and the 66 F250 over the weekend. If you've seen that video, broke bolts off in the cover. It was a nightmare too. It's just a typical day around here. My hand's stuck. There we go. Just got to push through the Bondo. This mount's actually going to make this Jeep more structural, I think. It's going to be safer. It's rough. When I push the clutch pedal down and I'm on a hill, I can feel it like rubbing the frame. It's ridiculous. Can't get to that. I don't think I can get in the toolbox. Oh, look at that rust. Somebody welded it. Oh. Through the rust hole in the bottom. Surely I have a rust hole in the bottom. I knew it. Come on. Did I fix it? Nope. I'll just make the hole bigger. Shove my bear paw in there. Shove my bear paw in there. Ah, this is like, well, okay, maybe not that one. It's like helping a cow give birth. Helping that calf just out the... Just gotta shove your hand... That ain't working. Anyway. Ooh. Let's try that bolt. Doesn't have the old rusty factor. Good enough for this little thing. Oh. Nothing is going well for me this week. And it's Tuesday. This guy. Put you on the... You know what I like about these step bits? My son thinks they look just like the arrows Rambo uses in First Blood Part 2. The explosive arrows. I agree. Oh, come on. This was supposed to be a quick video because I'm tired and I kind of want to go inside. What am I going to do inside? Sit down? Look for more project vehicles? Probably. Alright. I'll tighten those up later. Or I'll forget and the shovel will fall off. Oh gosh. Can't even like hinge it right because it's so... Okay, maybe I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up. Ah. Battery. Figures. It smells like gas. Gas is shut off. I have a tractor fuel tank just bolted to the back of this. Yeah. Thing of beauty. One more. Nothing like it. We'll find one more rusty nut. I think it looks okay. Yeah. Sure is snug. Those firemen sure weren't losing their shovels. I wonder if the back tire is going to rub that. Well, if I break the leaf spring mount again, it'll be okay. I like it. I like it. I like my shovel. Good memories, good times with that. I like my mount. I got another one I think I'm going to put it on the CJ5 that's behind me. It's a good place for it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Anyway, oh, I forgot to show you guys the Jeep. How they kind of snuck it in. You Jeep connoisseurs, Willys, you Willys connoisseurs probably know about this. But I'll show you anyway. Let me do some camera turning aroundy stuff. Okay, so I don't know about CJ2As, but I do know about the 3B. And by the time they got to the CJ5s, I think AMC, Kaiser Willys, all these places, they already got the patent or the rights to the trademark to say Jeep. So you see it right there. Boop, Jeep. But back in the 40s and 50s, they did not. So they snuck it in on things. And on the 3B, it's right here, passenger seat. It's a stamped in cursive Jeep. Kind of hidden on the body. They're pretty cool. And I think it's an ordeal because if you bought, they sell this tool storage box, new repop metal you can weld in. But I don't know if they have that. You can also correct me there. I haven't shopped around because this one's pretty rotted out and I just don't use it. I'm going to do one on the CJ5 because that thing's getting better and better every day. The more I touch it, the worse it gets. So I haven't messed with it lately. So it's okay, if that makes sense. Anyway, I don't know if you will get that on a repop, but it is cool. It's stamped in there. When I first saw it, I thought they welded it on, like MIG'd it, but I guess that's stupid of me to think. Pretty cool stuff. Anyway, so that's the Jeep thing. Ah, rocket. There's my shovel. Pretty happy with that. And again, maybe your wives will hate you. Maybe they'll love you. I don't know, but try not to throw stuff away. The rusty nuts and bolts and shovels that you pull out of war zones and mounts that your buddies find in junkyards. I mean, when I take something off in a junkyard, I save the nuts and bolts because that would look atrocious. It would be a crime to put shiny stuff right there. It just looks silly. Anyway, that's that. I think I made a shovel mount video longer than it needed to be. Check out this tire chains. I need to do some, I gotta fix some things. I don't know, wheel spacers, just not use tire chains. I don't know, we got, it does, oh, yeah, it gets into stuff. And that's like a fender support hat channel. I can probably clean it up and weld it one day, but winter's about over here in Ohio, so we'll be done with the chains. They're okay. I use them in the woods when it's kind of swampy back there, and this thing just does not have the RPMs to turn over and clean out tires, so it just running on bald tires. It feels like when they pack in the mud. Maybe a better tire, like a new Coke or something, like a military style tire. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I want to see some more comments and interact and talk about stuff because it gets lonely in the garage. You know? Hanging out in the garage isn't what it used to be. So, yeah, comment and we'll talk about Jeep stuff. Correct me on all the inaccurate information I gave about 3Bs and 2As and M38, A1, XYZs, and all the Willys and the Willys, and what else did I talk about? And if you're from Department of Defense and you want to talk about your property that you dumped in the desert, finders keepers, man, finders keepers. I brought it home. You dumped it. Mine. Well, that's all tonight from Route 40 Rust. If you like what you've seen so far, hit subscribe. Maybe the little bell alert button that'll say boop, 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 boop. Route 40 Rust post another video, and you can stop what you're doing and watch it. But no, really, guys, subscribe. It will help me out, and I will be more motivated to make more videos because I'm out here in the garage doing garage stuff every day of the week, every night I can, unless I got some family stuff going on or wife and kids broke something in the house. Yesterday I had to do some plumbing. It doesn't matter. You guys know what it's like being a guy or a lady taking care of business. Take care of your family. They always come first. We know that. But Lord willing, if I can have some garage time, I think some things that are coming up are if I want to work on some Motorcraft 2100, 2150 carburetors, do some rebuild videos. I really love that carburetor, and it kind of goes across Jeeps and 70s, 60s, 70s Ford trucks use them, some truck engines. I got a big block 3 under these parts, a 360, and I got a 390 and a bump side, and they all use this carburetor. I love it. Super easy to rebuild. Super easy. You could rebuild. I could build one. I don't know. Maybe no eyes. Maybe that'll be a challenge. And I also have a head. This is the last head off the 360. I need to get the valves out and lap the valves, clean it up. As you can see, I had to drill out some broken exhaust manifold bolts. There's some Healy coils. And if you watch my video about the diff cover, when I did a horrible job doing that, I knew all about 25/64 drill bits and 3/8 Healy coils, and exactly this is my wheelhouse. I already got some valves out because I needed them out of the way to get it in the drill press and stuff. Anyway, maybe we'll do a video on just lapping valves. Real cheap thing to kind of breathe some new life into an old cylinder head. And carburetors, I know a lot of little tidbits of information. I know stuff I've got stuff you don't even know about. That's not true. But I've got some 2100 tips. So again, please subscribe. Please like, comment. I think if I had to pick between subscribes and comments. I want to talk to people. So do that, please. Thank you. That's it for tonight.